What's up, YouTube and YouTube Bust? It's your boy Triple Cup Chuck, and I'm up. And I know it's been a while since y'all heard from me. You know what I'm saying? I've been having a lot of things been going on, trying to get my videos together. And you know what I'm saying? I just want to let y'all know that this video here is about a versus, my UFC versus WWE. So I will explain to y'all what I was bringing, like the difference in the mechanics and what I prefer better. And, the difference, because, they both kind of similar genres, I guess you could look at them in that perspective. But, one is by EA and the other one is by 2K. But you know what I'm saying? And I just wanted to apologize to y'all because I know it's been a while since I've been on here. But I've been going through it all. If y'all don't know, I'm from Baton Rouge, and we just got flooded out. So a lot of stuff was gone. Right before that, somebody had put a virus on my computer. It's called Zeus something. It's some type of Zeus virus where it's messing up where I can't download or upload nothing. So I've been kind of bagged up on that. And if anybody know anything about this type of virus, just let me know, inbox me, or leave a comment to say how can I get this virus up off my computer. So that kind of like put a damper on my videos. And talking about damper because of the rain and the flooding we were just going through. Then on top of that, on my upload studio, every time I try, I be putting together my clips from off upload because these are like my personal clips or something that I do. So I capture a lot of my own personal gameplay, and I kind of edit them and kind of break them down so I could talk over my own individual game footage. So when you're seeing it, it's actually my game footage. I don't use nobody else's game footage. But if I do use somebody else's game footage, I will make sure that I acknowledge that this is not my game footage. This is for whoever. Or or whatever the circumstances might bring. But so far, everything's been my own personal game footage. And like on this UFC and this WWE 2K16, I kind of like mix and match them, put them both like back to back together. And I was showing like how I was playing on my UFC and how I was playing it on the WWE. And to be honest with you, I'm not too good at the WWE. It's okay. It's more like, it's like a quick time event type of game. So you playing and let's say if a person to swing, you can hit the right trigger and they'll dodge them, and then you'll do a lick, then you'll push the X button and they'll go into like some type of combination, and you can just pretty much sit back and watch and get you a bag of popcorn. It is not too much of like you got to really put thought behind it. It's just more like you just going with the motions. And like on UFC, it's all about precision and being precise. Like when you swing, every lick that you do is what you're doing. So if a person blocking his head, you can hit him in his body. If you push a button to swing, he gonna swing. And if you ain't in the right vicinity to hit in the hit box, you will not hit the person. It's just like, if a person swings, you could time it perfectly to get a counter punch in like that one that just happened right there. It's all these type of events. And man, that was a lick out this world. But then what else I noticed about the WWE, they don't really bleed and have too many facial expressions. To me, it's just kind of bland. It's kind of boring. But it's good for like a story mode, I guess, if you want to just check the story mode out. And they got a lot of wrestlers, and that if you go from way back in the days of the Ultimate Warrior, Randy Savage, they got those. They got the up-to-date wrestlers. So, by the people that they have, it got a lot of wrestlers that if you like wrestling and you like these people, you will have a variety of different people that you can play with. I will say that they done nailed it down about that. And they done nailed it down by the look and the atmosphere and the feel of wrestling, the way you play it. It does good just by the way it looks and the way that it moves. But I just don't like the fact that when you're playing it, it kind of like does everything for you. You don't really be playing. You just there. I mean, I don't know how many people know about the old school back in the days, the Nintendo 64, THQ, wrestling, WWE, the way that game was. I mean, they should just kind of like implement that into these new wrestling games, because it was something about that gameplay where you could hit, I guess it was B at the time. You could press B and they'll do a quick punch, or you could hold B and they'll do a heavy punch. And then you had A. You could tap A and you could grab a person, or you could hold A and they'll do a double grab, will give you like two different sets of moves. If you tap it, it's the light, and if you hold, it's the heavy. Just that aspect will be just a whole different ball game for this game. And to make it well set up, then it had the counters. It should just add a couple more of those little things. I mean, it's the way it looked, but it's good. But I just don't like the whole thing of everything is premeditated, so you don't really be doing nothing. And I'm sort of got so used to playing that UFC about every lick counts and matters, and the way you move and the way you hit and the hitbox. And they kind of took the fight night aspect of it by the way you be punching and moving, and you know what I'm saying, the uppercut and the precision of the licks. So I kind of like that a little bit more better on my behalf. So y'all know I'm leaning toward the UFC because that's what I play in. The wrestling is not my thing. I used to like wrestling. I used to be a big wrestling fan, you know what I'm saying, when it was Hulk Hogan. And I used to be a huge wrestling fan when it was The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin, you know, when he came out with the People's Eyebrow. You know what I'm saying? I used to go crazy watching it every Monday night. That used to be my thing. I used to love wrestling. But then it just kind of got old. Then I got used to seeing this new age stuff of this WWE. It's like, okay, it's not as good as it was when it was WWF. But you know, that's how the cookie crumbles. And then I end up watching the UFC, and the first UFC person I was watching was Anderson Silva, and the way he was fighting, I was like, he was pretty cool, and I was like, man, he kind of reminds me of Jon Jones, the way he move his head and kind of, you know, saying move out the way, because you know I used to like boxing, but to be honest with you, Floyd Mayweather killed boxing for me. He made the sport not a sport. He made it like golf, where it's just boring. You just sit there and watch and every now and then. So he took a sport that was, you know what I'm saying, action-packed and made it a golf sport where it became, you know, pretty much boring. So that's why I started watching boxing, and started watching the UFC. So I started watching that, and I started learning some of the names and some of the fighters, and from James Jones Bones, and yeah, then the big Red Henrys, and you know what I'm saying, it was just a lot of people. Then they had Chuck Liddell, you know, Tito, you know, learn about the old St. Pierre. And I started saying, okay, I started getting more into it when I started learning these names, like, you know what I'm saying, Ronda Rousey. And you know what I'm saying, I knew about wrestling from a child, but it just wasn't real, and it didn't hold my attention no more. And I moved from WWE to UFC. And, you know, Brock Lesnar showed it. You know what I'm saying? They had Kim Shamrock, you know, they kind of played both fields. And I was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? This could be something I could get into. And I started watching it. And ever since then, I've been a UFC person. That's been my favorite sport besides for football, you know, American. But anyway, this your boy Triple Cup Chuck, and I'm, you know what I'm saying, I'm tired of running it, but you know it's been a long time since I've been in here. And remember, I don't do this for me, I do this for we. So like, subscribe, and holler at your boy. Get at me. Let me know some of you find out about that Zeus virus, you heard me?